The seriousness with which the Chachamim took this prohibition against reading shitrei hediyotot is made obvious from a Gemara in Shabbat, Daf Kuf Tet Zayin Amud Bet 116b, and there we learn about the opinion of Rabbi Nehemiah, who thinks, listen to this, who thinks that it's prohibited on Shabbat to read the Ktuvim, right? Torah, Nevi'im, Ktuvim, the third part of the Tanakh, like books like Tehillim and Mishlei, in order that people would say, if it's prohibited to read Tehillim, Mishlei on Shabbat, then surely it's prohibited to read shitrei hediyotot. It was like a kind of a fence. Rabbi Chaim wanted to make a fence around this prohibition, which is Drabanan, and say that just like people would say that if you can't learn Tehillim and Mishlei on Shabbat, certainly you can't learn shitrei hediyotot. He was afraid that people would take this prohibition lightly and not so seriously, and therefore he was interested in making this fence. Now it's true that we don't paskin like Rabbi Nehemiah. His position is not lahalacha. Nevertheless, just to come up with such a position indicates how he felt, how strongly he felt about this prohibition itself. It's important to know that already in the Rishonim, there are many cases of shitrei hediyotot that are dealt with, like reading sifrei chokhmah, philosophy, theology, chokhmah. We'll get to see what that is exactly. Stories about wars. I mean, we might call them history books, and we have to look into these things very, very on a one-by-one basis in order to understand what the prohibition of shitrei hediyotot implies in every case.